Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully, everyone is having a great day so far. It's Linda Jordan with the Linda Jordan Show of LRJ Coaching and Business Solutions. So, today we have a fabulous guest for you. Her name is JoAnna Anderson, and she is part of my series of Powerhouse Women in Real Estate. JoAnna is a successful entrepreneur in the field of real estate, and so you'll get to hear all that she has to share with us today. She's been investing in real estate since 2012 and at that time she decided that she needed to take charge of her own financial future. She has purchased, renovated, and sold many properties in the state of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. She's a graduate of Fayetteville State University and has a bachelor's degree in biology, which was her prior career of being a biology teacher for high school students in the state of North Carolina and Virginia. In JoAnna's spare time, she presides over a local meetup group for investors. She volunteers with various charities for the homeless and speaks at various functions nationally. However, her family is her number one priority, and she has two beautiful daughters that are very talented, Madison and Reagan, as well as a gorgeous granddaughter, Winnie Rose, who we get to see quite often on Facebook to see all those beautiful pictures. So with no further ado, I welcome JoAnna Anderson. Thank you, JoAnna, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So I provided our audience with a little bit about, your background, your history, and how you are a rock star in real estate. So just take a few moments and share your journey in getting into real estate investing, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, it was kind of an accident that led me to this. I think I was 23 and was getting married, and I had a house built in Kernersville in a new community that was still being built. And then 3 months after my wedding, we were moving back to Fayetteville, where we both attended college. And we couldn't sell our brand new house in a brand new neighborhood because they could have a brand new one built themselves without buying ours. That was months old. So we had to figure out how to afford two mortgages. And so we ended up buying a very distressed property in a nice neighborhood in Fayetteville while continuing to pay the mortgage on our vacant property while it was listed. It stayed listed for 10 months before it sold. So we were paying two mortgages for 10 months, and the distressed property fixed it up. It was going to be a very long-term home for us. Mm-hmm. But after a year of living there, we were moving again. And we put the house on the market. It sold right away, and we made $40,000 on the second home, which is unintentional because we were just buying it to enjoy it ourselves, not as an investment property. So I thought, if we can do this without intention, what could we do with intention? So it took us probably 7 years after that before we invested in our education and really started investing in real estate. And we invested with fortune builders. Mm-hmm. And because I'm a teacher, I'm also very coachable. And I realized the power of education. So I did everything my coaches told me. I went to our live events and learned as much as I could and applied as much as I could within my very busy schedule as a biology teacher, a mother, and a wife. So within 8 months, we had 3 deals all at once. 2 we wholesaled and 1 we rehabbed. And that just fueled the flames, and we just put the coal in the engine and kept turning.
Wow, that's awesome. So I know people that are listening are probably thinking, oh my gosh, she made this sound so easy. And we all know that it's not that easy.
Yeah. 8 months seemed like a lifetime when I was in it. As I look back, 8 months was no time. I mean, I spent 4 years of college to try to get a job in my field, and there was no guarantee, but I spent 8 months in my education, and I'm a lifetime student. So I'm always learning new things from same people, different people, and
Mm-hmm.
really growing, stretching myself so that I can
Right.
do more and be more.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so important because oftentimes people have a little challenge with stretching because it's uncomfortable. You're doing something that you really don't know or understand, but you know it's something that you need to do. So that's
Mhm.
really good. So I remember when I first met you, you were on stage and I was like, oh my gosh, biology teacher and she's rocking it with real estate. And how do I do that? And how do I become more like what JoAnna has done? So I'm not where you are yet, but I'm getting close a little bit, I guess I would say. But
We
tell the
all have
audience, huh?
I said we all have our path, and there's so many different ways to do real estate that, where I might be a rehabber, you might be doing commercial, you might
Right.
be building rentals. I do a lot of things, but there's so many different ways to even do the same thing.
Yes, that is so very, very true. So for those that are listening that are thinking about, getting into real estate, what would you say would be your greatest takeaways or tips to share around someone who is just thinking about getting into the business?
I would definitely say invest in your education. Investing in yourself is kind of nerve wracking, but
Yeah.
we do it so easily and so often for other people. I mean, these people that we work these companies for, we're building their dream. Why not take
Hmm.
that same energy, same money, same time, and put it into your own dreams? So I definitely say invest in your education. There's a lot of money to earn out here in real estate.
Hmm.
There's a lot of money to lose as well.
Right.
So that education kind of mitigates the risk for sure.
Right. And oftentimes, what I do hear people say, when we talk about, education is so important, their first thing is, well, I don't have a lot of money to invest in these larger companies that, offer different programs. What advice would you share with them or give to them regarding, just doing some basic type of learning and educating yourself around real estate?
I would say, investing with some of these larger companies is going to accelerate what you can do. You can get free information here and there. It is free. A lot of it's free and a lot of it's accurate and a lot of it is not accurate. So
Right.
sure that you consider the source. But going the free route, YouTubing, and so on, it's just it'll get you to a place. I don't know where that'll
Right.
be,
Right.
but a lot slower than
Right.
investing in your education. Now, if you just don't have the money, and that is definitely the case for many people, then serve
Mhm.
someone that knows what you want to know, that's doing what you want to do, just for the opportunity to shadow and learn right alongside them.
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's a great point. And sometimes people forget that, mentoring is one of the easiest ways to learn about, real estate or whatever business you want to learn about when you can work side by side with someone and gain some of that robust knowledge from them.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Great. Awesome. So what would you say were some of your two greatest challenges in going from being a school teacher from some of the corporate world into real estate investing?
My two greatest challenges were time and mindset.
Mm,
So I did not have a lot of time to put into learning and doing, because as a teacher, you work full time, overtime, borrowed time.
uh,
You do your work during school hours, but then you bring homework to grade. You call parents from your home during your own family time, and so I didn't have a lot of time just from that. But then I also had to come home and be a mom to my girls that were also in school, and try to be a wife too. So that's a lot
right.
to juggle. But I did it, so it can be done.
Hmm.
What I had to do was really look at my own schedule, how I was utilizing my time at work, to figure out why I always had to bring work home. And
Right.
I found out I was messing around at work. I was not using I was not using my planning periods very well. And so I had to get very organized. Every day I would probably go to the copy machine to copy papers because I wasn't organized. So I used that, and I would use my planning period for planning. And one day out of 2 weeks, I would go take my whole planning and copy everything for 2 weeks. So that cut out my every day going to the copy machine.
Right.
And I was prepared for class, so I had all of my materials together. And then I just had to put my foot down that
Right.
I'm not bringing work home. If it doesn't get done during these school hours, then it's just not going to get done.
Right.
So I left work at work. I utilized my time at work better. I stopped eating lunch with my teacher friends because it only takes realistically 5 minutes to eat.
Right.
But I was spending 30 chit-chatting, and I convinced myself that I needed that adult time, away from the kids. But what I really needed to do was leave my work at work. So I made that the priority. And then when I got home, I had time to spend with my kids, spend with my husband. By the way, I'm not married anymore, but we're going to make that clear up front.
Now, are you saying you're available?
I'm saying I'm not married. And I am my number one priority. So, and I would get up an extra hour early. I was always the first person to wake up in my household anyways, but that would be me getting lunches together, getting clothes together, ready for school, getting my own stuff ready for school. So I decided I'd wake up an hour earlier when no one in the world needed me. It'd be like 5 a.m. Nobody else in the world is up. Nobody was sending me an email at that time, and I could really get in some focused attention on training and sending emails that people could respond to whenever they wake up.
Right.
And so I really narrowed in on time management there. My second hurdle, moving from teaching to real estate, was mindset. I had been a servant all of my life, serving in education. And that is all that I wanted to do. But I wanted to do it differently. So I wanted to have my time freedom. So I had to change my mindset that, at some point I have to come first. At some point, my dreams have to come first. I can't just pour into other people from an empty cup.
Right.
So I had to change my mindset about a lot of things, including money was a big thing, because it was really a struggle for me to invest in myself. I went to college absolutely free. I had a full scholarship. So I didn't understand the monetary value of education because it was all free.
Right.
Initially. And so really pouring in financially, I was like, I've got to make this work. I have to realize my strengths, realize that I can do this, and make it work and get over those obstacles that other people come before me, they don't.
Right. Yeah. That's such a true statement, because oftentimes we do put others in front of us, and then we also get into that imposter syndrome and blaming ourselves. And then at the end of the day, we get nothing done. But you're right. If you have that right mindset and you believe in yourself, you can do so much more than what you really thought you could. Awesome. So I love the fact that you are getting your daughters involved in the real estate. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's just phenomenal that, for young adults to understand that, they too can be business owners and not necessarily go into a lot of debt by going to college, but you can do both. But so talk to us a little bit about, that venture and how your daughters are doing in the business.
Well, it is a roller coaster because it's still mom teaching them something that really has been foreign to our family before me, entrepreneurship in general.
Right.
And now I will say that they take bits of it and run with it. They dream bigger dreams than I ever have, which is the goal,
Right.
Working with mom, I have great leadership skills out there. My family says I'm very bossy, but I say it's great leadership
skills. I would agree. Yeah, I think it's just good leadership skills. Moms can be bossy though.
Yeah, and so um I hold the expectations high for them.
Hmm.
And I always let them know they don't have to love doing real estate. They don't have to do real estate if they don't want to. But most importantly, I show them what real estate can afford for them to do in their real dreams.
Right.
So my oldest, she wants to be a serial entrepreneur, whatever that means to her right now. My youngest, she changes. She wants to do nails. She wants to uh, cosmetic stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. She said she doesn't want to go to college. She just wants to do nails. I was like, well, you got to go to school for that, and
Hmm.
we can get you through that early before
Right.
college age. We can get that certification, and then you can go and learn how to run a business so you can own your own. So
Right.
really pouring in the entrepreneurship part. But then we sit down and we talk about my projects, and I break it down financially for them. How
Mm.
much is the mortgage on this property and how much rent comes in? And what
Right.
are the other bills that are associated with this? And what do I get at the end of the month? And then what does that look like over a year's time? And what does that look like over 10 years, over 20
Hmm.
years? Because this piece of real estate is not going to fall down, and it's just going to continue to grow in value. And if we roll this 300, 500 cash flow over for 50 years, 100 years,
Years.
how much money can that make from one good investment?
Right.
And I take them for my rental properties. I take them to their property. I'm like, when I'm gone, this
Hmm.
property is yours. And so let me show you what this is. Let me show you the numbers on it. My daughter and I just bought a property in Greensboro, and the lady, everything was in there. She
Wow.
she was in a nursing home. She was taken directly from that house to a nursing home. And so she left everything in there. I don't know the lady. I got this deal from a wholesaler. But
Okay.
from her things, we could tell a lot about her. She was well read. She had an amazing book collection. She had an amazing collection of records. And
Wow.
usually I would just go in and say, get all of this stuff out of here and let's get to work.
Right.
So I had my youngest with me. I was like, let me stop by and check on this property. And she got to digging through that stuff, and she found record players and a lot of different records. And she was like, no, let's take these. Let's go through them. So we loaded up my Jeep, and it was loaded.
Oh, wow.
And we found Michael Jackson
Oh,
collection.
wow.
We found Billie Holiday, Nikki Giovanni. She had a great collection.
Wow.
And so with that, now that property, we just started work this week. It'll be finished next week, and it's a rental property. She knows
Okay.
that hers. She will work the numbers. I'll show her, where do we go to pay the mortgage, because it's a subject too. So
Gotcha.
how do we pay this mortgage, and who's the property manager? And so I keep them involved on their properties, the properties that will be theirs.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because, teaching them now will just be so much more beneficial when they, are managing those properties of their own, and,
Mhm.
when they want to start maybe their own business. So that is critical that, we make sure that we're teaching our kids as well as our families around, being an entrepreneur, because, oftentimes a lot of families don't grow up in being a boss or being an entrepreneur. I myself am the only entrepreneur in my family as well. And so sometimes that can be a struggle in conversations of they're like, well, what are you doing? Yeah, they just have different mindsets. So as we get to a close, I guess I would ask, what's the main takeaway that you would share with the audience around real estate and how you've grown your business, and you've in 3 states now, I believe. So you're definitely a powerhouse woman in real estate. So what would you say to the listeners around, if they want to get to where you are and some of the steps to take?
Well, I would say I believe that everyone should own at least one property and at least one rental property.
Yes.
And get educated about investing, increase your network. I operate in 3 different states, and I couldn't do that if I didn't have a great network and a great team, be able to operate in all of those states. I was forced to do it, but it created so much growth in me. And so I encourage everyone, just step out of your comfort zone. That comfort zone is not going to serve you. You're not going to grow in your comfort zone. Yes, it feels nice and cozy, but if you want to be better, if you want to be bigger, you've got to get out of your comfort zone and get coaching, get a mentor, get a coach.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if people wanted to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you, JoAnna?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, those are mostly the places where I hang out, especially Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. It has been fabulous to get to know a little bit more about you and understand how your business operates. And the beauty of it is that, you know, you're bringing up your daughters to want to be entrepreneurs or show them the way so that, you know, if they do get a job in corporate and something, you know, crazy happens and they get laid off, whatever, they have another stream of income that they can go to. And I think that's one of the areas that people often struggle with is not having another stream of income or knowing how to, you know, have another stream of income. And so people do struggle. But most importantly, you're sharing with them the mindset of, you know, being a female entrepreneur and a woman of color.
Yes.
So that's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today. And those that are listening, you know, definitely connect with JoAnna on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, right?
Yes, and my YouTube channel. Check out my
her YouTube channel.
Remnant Real Estate Solutions, so you can see some of the projects I've done. And that's also a source of free information too.
Awesome. Great, girl. Awesome. So check her sites out and connect with JoAnna. So thanks for joining us. And until next time, have a great week.